welcome to our final show of the night here on day 2 for the Run for Roses Classic from the Kentucky Exposition Center. Hi everyone, Mike Corey here in Louisville, Kentucky. What a day of basketball we've had once again here in Kentucky. So many great games going on from the 78 courts, over 1,000 teams and over 11,000 players. We've had some amazing coaches here as well. Over 1,100 coaches in all divisions watching college basketball here this weekend, and we're only on day 2 of 4. Coming up in this show, CT Heights, one of the teams here, has a foundation that brings basketball opportunities to underprivileged girls. We'll show you about that. We've got Kelly Harper joining us, the new head coach at Tennessee. She'll talk about what her expectations are there and also the dynamic of working with her husband, John, who has been an assistant coach with her at her last 3 college stops. Plus, we'll show you all the highlights of all the great players here today and the games that they've had. But first, a feature on Canadian basketball. We don't just have teams from the United States here. There are a ton of teams from Canada. Take a look at this.
A lot of people recognize the fact that the number of Canadians in the NBA, we're the second biggest country represented in the NBA as far as numbers go. But it's been women's basketball that's actually been the one that sort of pushed things forward before the men's side ever did.
Probably 20 girls each year that go NCAA Division I or Division II. So our girls can play basketball. We're very strong, very athletic. And if you look at the board behind you, the board with all the universities, this tournament is absolutely outstanding. It's a tremendous pleasure and it's a blessing to be in this competitive environment. And we've been training hard to compete.
It's remarkable. We're really representing our country everywhere we go. Kentucky's just one place, but we continue to show everyone what we're really made of.
Well, we now have the pleasure of being joined alongside the new head coach of the Tennessee Lady Vols. Kelly Harper is with us. Coach, great to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. First off, congratulations. Coaching your alma mater, only the 3rd ever coach in Tennessee Lady Vols history. What does that feel like, and what was your reaction when you became the new head coach, and what's happening right now?
Well, it was it's a little surreal at times because obviously this program means a lot to me, and I understand how important it is to women's basketball in general. So it's been really exciting. We've been been working really hard to try to kind of catch up, so to speak. When you're a new staff, you've got a lot to do, but I've got a great group that we're working with, and we're excited.
Well, and how much different is women's basketball now? I mean, you played in the mid to late 90s. You won 3 consecutive NCAA titles. Tell me the differences, recruiting, level of athletes, teams, where you are now as we all the way up to 2019.
The recruiting landscape looks very different than it did in the mid-90s, and there's so many more opportunities for these young players to play, a lot more tournaments, exposure opportunities. They've started at a young age, and they're just super talented, and they can. I just think there's so many more athletes out there than there were back when I was coming out of high school. So, but it's fun to watch the growth.
Well, and how important is the growth? Like, that's the key word there, because we know about the top players, and I feel like there's somewhat of a limited group of that, correct me if I'm wrong, but then there's your next tier where if you could develop them into one of those type of players, or bring somebody along. How much is the development as opposed to just, we didn't get the number 8 player in the country?
I think it's both. I think what you want to do, you want to sign the best players that you can sign that are the right fit for your program and develop them. I think you want to do both and teach them to play in your system, because I think that's going to develop the best team that you can have. So, I know for us, we go out, we're recruiting, we're trying to recruit elite talent, but also find ways to develop them. When they get on campus, how can we get them better, and how can our team work with these talented players?
Got to ask you about being able to play for one of the all-time greats, the legendary Pat Summitt. As we say, God rest her soul. What an amazing career. I mean, even better person. You could describe to us more of what that's like. How about it?
She's amazing. Everything that you think she was, that you saw on TV, she was, and more. think the behind the scenes part, you didn't get to see how caring and how funny and how intelligent she was. She was also a very hard worker in areas off the court as well. She wanted to be the best. She wanted to be the best mother. She wanted to be the best coach. She wanted to be the best friend. I mean, that's just who she was. That's her personality.
It's like you want to play hard for somebody like that. You know, when they have your back and, you know, the relationship building that she had. I mean, you can see why you guys win titles, but also everybody values her the way that you just described.
I think she walked in and she had a presence about her that no one else had, and there was a respect there, and she was a great motivator. I thought one of her strengths as a coach was her motivating tactics with her players. We'd have done anything in the world for her, but obviously, you know, just having her there as our role model and someone to look up to was really important for us.
No doubt. You coached at Western Carolina, NC State, Missouri State, now here at Tennessee. Your husband, John, has been an assistant coach with you at all those previous stops, right? Tell me about that and the dynamic that you guys have.
Well, it works for us. I was joking with someone the other day. They asked how we manage spending so much time together, but we are so busy. We can go 2 or 3 days at a time and not even speak, or at least only about basketball stuff. So, you know, we work really hard in the office, and then we have children back home, so we're spending a lot of time with them when we can. But you know, it works really well. You want to work with people you trust and you like. And I think the other thing about our situation, we're bringing different strengths to the table. I think he and I play off of each other very well.
That's great. Is it Jackson and Kylie, right?
Jackson and Kylie. Yeah. Jackson's 5 going on 32, and Kylie just turned 1. So.
Oh, that's great. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's so busy. I mean, you know, as a coach, both of you, how much time goes into that. That's got to be hard to manage. I don't think people have any idea.
Well, it is difficult at times, and I think for us, the line gets blurred. You know, it's not clear sometimes when they're family and when it's work, because it's just our life. And so our children will be with our team a lot, and you know, when we go back to our house, it's still our team. I mean, you know, it's just our life, and when we talk about it being a family, it really and truly is for us. These players are just like big sisters to our children.
Well, here we are on social media, and that's just been the biggest, you know, difference. As you know, we've all grown up and have to understand and adapt to, where you can be on your phone all the time, you know, and all the recruiting and everything. You gotta find a way to shut that down. You know?
Well, you know what? Have a 1-year-old, and you have to shut it down. She doesn't give us an option sometimes.
No. Tennessee, 8-time NCAA champions. You've been in the tournament every year since the inception for women's basketball. The expectations are so high. You know that, of course. So what would you say on what you're trying to achieve with this team, knowing that it's about performing in a tournament where some teams are just trying to get there? Not the case for the Tennessee Lady Vols.
Well, it's different. I think players, our fans obviously expect that. Our staff expects more. Our players come to Tennessee with higher expectations. So I think we're all on the same page there. I think we get it. But right now what we're trying to do is get our players to understand, and everyone in our staff, we're just trying to be the best we can be every day. And if we can be the best we can be every single day, and we can improve every single day, by the end of the season, we got a chance to be a pretty good basketball team. So I think that's what has to be our motivation right now. It's not so much big picture as it is just what can we do each day, and how the process can get us to be where we need to be.
Yeah, that is hard sometimes, because we all want something immediately and you want to see the results, but you know, it's like that 12-page paper in college. We always waited till the last day to do it. Well, if I did 1 page today, 2 pages tomorrow, 3 pages like a couple days from now, like it would be done, you know, but it's not as gratifying because it's not done.
Well, don't get me wrong. Hey, look, I would rather it be done tomorrow too. I wish we could be great tomorrow, but I understand it is just a process. You have to buy in and understand there's building blocks, and things have to be established before you can be great. And, you know, I feel like we've had a good spring and a good summer, and hopefully we're on our way.
Final thing, this amazing tournament here. I mean, it's amazing. You walk around almost 80 courts, over 11,000 players. I know you're trying to see everybody that you can. Just what about having this event and this tournament, which brings people together too? I'm sure you see your colleagues and friends as well as trying to find the best basketball players in the country, but this is an amazing event.
Well, you know, like I was talking about earlier, we didn't have this back in the 90s. Right. We didn't have opportunities to walk in a one facility and have so many courts. And as a young college coach, you know, I had my maps driving around trying to see all the different gyms, and you get to see half as many games as you can when you have a facility like this where you're watching, where you're not moving. You get here, you hope you brought snacks because you're just not leaving. You're going to stay here and watch as many games as you can.
Yeah, my Rand McNally Road Atlas has been replaced by Google, and everybody's watching. They're like, what the heck's he talking about? Like, what is that? It's great talking to you. All the best. Congratulations. Have a great year.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Kelly Harper from Tennessee, their new head coach, joining us here at the Run for Roses in Louisville, Kentucky. We continue on here with a great story from CT Heights, one of the teams here in the tournament. They got a foundation that's helping young kids, underprivileged kids, with the game of basketball. Check this out.
We started this foundation after my wife passed away, and because my wife grew up in the inner city and required help from somebody, a stranger she did not know, to go to college, you know, as little as $800. Her name was Sonia Dockett Wachiku. She was very the nicest person.
The legacy of Sonia Wachiku for these girls, if I had to put it in words, is just determination. And I learned, just like the girls learned over time, what she stood for. And for me, my perception was she just never gave up in life.
When she passed away 5 years ago, the only thing I could think about was going back to those stories she told me about how without that particular help, you know, she could have been in the inner city, pregnant and all that. So I decided to do the same thing for some people I don't know. You know, my daughter played basketball, so that was the only way I could think about to connect with other kids from the inner cities.
Foundation aims to help girls from Connecticut that don't have the resources, necessarily wouldn't have the resources to expose their talent, which is basketball. So we're very unique in Connecticut. We don't have tryouts. We find out about a young woman that has a real good talent for basketball and could play at the collegiate level, but also they have to have a great attitude. And then if we like their attitude and like their skill set and we think we can mold them and work with them, we invite them to the program.
You have to be a very good basketball player, but you also want to be focused on your education. So we look for those two elements.
We are absolutely driven by their success in the classroom because the woman that this was honored after was very big into education, and that's what we want to see on that side of the fence for our girls.
But for these girls who are here now with us, this is the last year for 5 of them, and they've come through a long way. And they are totally different from the girls we met at the beginning. It's remarkable what a little one-on-one attention does, making a kid know that you care.
I see these girls taking this lesson that they learned and paying it forward. We have something on the back of our shirts that says pay it forward. All we ask them to do is just remember what has been provided to them. The courage that my friend had and his daughter to carry on and put this foundation together to help other families, other girls. That took a lot.
Run for Roses is special for us. It's funny because Tucker Neal, who runs Run for Roses, the first time he saw us, we just clicked. Because he asked, who are you guys? We've never seen you around, and we told him the story, and he just became literally like one of our sponsors.
I think a tournament like Run for Roses was a big part of how we structured our program, because you have to compete. The way this program's run, the best teams are going to be on the main floor, and we, CT Heights, are on main floors. We like to say the wood courts, and we practice with that motivation.
So Run for Roses has played a very unique part in the foundation and what we're trying to do with these kids. And the kids recognize that, and they love to come to this tournament. A lot of the college coaches that have interacted with them came from this tournament, attended this tournament. So it's been a great tournament for us to attend. We always look forward to coming to Run for Roses.
To the highlights we go in the class of 2020, Sisters Keepers in pink. That's Latasha Lattimore. She's had a really nice tournament so far for them, and they went up against Team Rio National in blue, but Lattimore has been so tough to stop. Inside presence, exerting her will and authority inside, had 15 points in this matchup. Team Rio National, though, they had a chance at the buzzer to try to tie this thing up and send it to overtime. They were down by 3. The heave-ho just off the mark, and Sisters Keepers escapes with a 62-59 win in this one. On to another game featuring players out of the 2020 class. Della Lamb Running Angels Platinum. They are in red against the Germantown Lady Panthers Elite, the team in blue. And the Running Angels were doing just that, getting to the hole without any real trouble from the fast break to the half-court set, and pretty much dominated this game over the Germantown Lady Panthers. Final score in this one, 61-41 in favor of the Della Lamb Running Angels Platinum. Next matchup of the 2020 class as well, featuring the Northwest Greyhounds Black taking on the DC Premier 17U. And Northwest Greyhounds really pretty much controlled this game, led by a total of 36-25 at the half, and then in the second half started to pull away as well. Ended up winning by 17 points. The final in this one, 69-52, Northwest Greyhounds Black victorious. And in this matchup of the 2021 class, we have the Bay State Jaguars in black going up against the Alabama Southern Stars in white. Pretty close matchup throughout, a pretty physical game as well. The Alabama Southern Stars able to pull this one out, though. They win it by 5 points. Nice play at the end from Sanaya Parker, who was able to get it to Caroline Striplin for the bucket down the stretch, and they win it by the final of 57-52. The Alabama Southern Stars over the Bay State Jaguars Black. And we'll have much more to come for you tomorrow and day 3 of 4 from the Run for Roses Classic from Louisville, Kentucky at the Kentucky Exposition Center. Should be a lot of fun. Another great day of basketball on Roses TV. We'll talk to you again soon.